Hey everybody, I got some new items sent to me, some samples by HEYii, which is a company that makes all kinds of things that you can infinitely use for writing and for keeping notes. And you can see here this grid, which is actually a mat, which I will show you more of in a bit. But first, they have these HEYfold notebooks, and as you can see, endless writing, slimmer, stronger. So let's have a look at what this is. They come in this sealed package with a bit of a sort of like a wax seal on it. The Eternal Notebook. So there you go. They have a little note on that. Welcome to the world of HEYii. And they've got a Kickstarter right now for all kinds of things, including that mat, which I will link in the description below. You can also click the eye in the corner of this video. That'll take you there. And this is basically just a foldable, there's even a little circle. I don't know what that is for. We'll have a look. But basically this is just a foldable little pocket thing that you can write on with dry erase pen, which they also have. So these are just two of them. They have the 0.6 thickness, the 1.0 thickness. They also have 2.0, and they have colored markers as well, which are these. There's a whole set of different colored markers. So let's just give that a try. I'm a lefty, so I'm gonna write like this. But let's see, notes here. And you can just make your check marks and write stuff down on this thing. Let's also try the thicker 1.0 marker there. Like this. It's a bit thicker than this one, not too much. So you can just take your notes, and this, of course, you've probably guessed, is simply a bigger version of that. So let's get that out here. That's the same little note there. And now you just have a bigger one with this rubber circle. So let's try that with all of these colors then, or a couple. This is the black one, which is, of course, a lot thicker. That's the 2.0. So as you can see, you can make nice big boxes of that, like so. And also, of course, on this one here. And if you want to add some color, let's take this one here. We can make some check boxes here. And then, you know, maybe we didn't do that one. And maybe we did do the other one. You can mark that off, and you can just infinitely rewrite on these. And you might be thinking, well, why am I taking a look at these? Why is that important? Because this is just stuff you use in the office or for yourself. Well, have you ever played an RPG and you need to take a lot of notes, and you need to bring that with you to your game nights, and you keep losing your notes, etc. And you've got your stats and your gear and everything that your character has on that sheet of paper that you usually use, and you need to correct things, or you lose something, or your weapon breaks, or you get new armor or new items. You need to erase that. The paper just gets smudgy, and you have to overwrite that, and it just doesn't look that great anymore after a while. Well, with this solution, you can just wipe that off. So HEYii also have these cloths, these microfiber cloths. So you can just wipe that off. You can wipe it off, but you can also, which is probably easier, just make it wet. So they have these little packets here. This is a spray can, a tiny little spray like this, that you put in some solution. You slide it in here, and this is actually made from soft material that you can use to wipe it off. So all you do is just spray that on, and then you just wipe that off just like that. Boom, there you go. And if you want to use a cloth, you can use that too, of course. So it's pretty easy to get everything off, or just erase the things you want to erase, and then just rewrite whatever you want to rewrite. You can get your quest log like that, and then just write up whatever you need. And I thought that was a pretty neat idea. You just write down all your notes as a dungeon master or as a player. Just fold it up. You can write on here as well. And then just bring that with you. And they have all kinds of neat little accessories, not just the cleaning kits here that you have, but also they have these magnetic clips. This is a very simple concept. It's just a magnetic clip that has 2 magnets on it. So if you want to bring your pen, maybe you want to bring this marker with you, you just have this. Let me just wipe off that water from this thing, and you just put one on one side, do this, put this on the other side, and maybe squeeze it in a bit. And now you can bring your pen along or even keep it closed. I'm not sure if the magnet is strong enough to go all the way through, but I'm gonna try. Let's see, one on the back, one on the front. And maybe I'll just put this on here. There you go. That actually works. So yeah, you can bring that with you and just keep notes of everything, your character's name on the front here. So, you know, maybe a small one for the players and a big one for the dungeon master. And then you open it up and you just keep knowing, you know exactly where you were and what you did and who you talked to. So for RPG players, this is actually pretty useful, but you can of course also use these in your daily life or for your work or whatever. I'm sure you can find plenty of uses for these products. You just wipe that off with a bit of cleaner, and there you go. And there actually seems to be a little bit of a magnetic part in the edge there. I'm not sure exactly where, if it's along the entire edge or not, but I can definitely, when I bring this together, it snaps together. So it stays closed when you travel and take this with you. That's pretty good. It's not a very strong magnet, so it's just enough to keep it closed as you travel. HEYi also has these cleaning tabs that you can put in these spray cans, these tiny little spray bottles, to clean your screens or, of course, the playmat itself. You can use this for anything. It says here you can just spray and then clean with the holder, because this has some kind of cloth on the outside. It's very soft, so you can actually use this to wipe. And they have these cleaning tablets. So this pack has 5 small tablets in them, and you just add 10 milliliters of water, which is this bottle, and then you can put it in and you'll have enough for 1 bottle of solution, the spritz and wipe cleaner. So all you need to do is just take one of those tablets. I've already put one in here. You can see it here lying on the bottom. There it is. And it'll just dissolve in water. So you just close that very tightly and just give it a bit of a shake and wait until it's completely dissolved, and then you can just spritz that, and you simply put it in here like that, so you can spray. And I'll wait a bit. I did have a little bit of water there, and then you can just wipe that off with the thing itself, and then you can store it in this holder like so and bring it with you. So that's pretty handy. You got this neat little cleaning spray holder, and you can just push it out like that and then spray it on once it's fully dissolved, and then wipe it off with the thing itself or with a cloth. I also just noticed that the HEY pen, the 0.6 millimeter ones, does have a little sponge tip on the cap. So if you make a mistake writing, whoops, then you can just use this to correct minor mistakes, which is pretty awesome. And I just found another use for these notepads. You can actually just slap it on your refrigerator. So if you're making notes for groceries, cheese, you just keep it on your fridge. And then when it's time to do shopping, take it off, fold it shut, and put that in your pocket, and you've got all your groceries here. Another HEYi item that you may like is the out of the box. So it comes in this package. It's a portable universal stand. So let me just open that up and take that out. It's actually a nice pouch to keep this in, so I'm probably gonna just hang on to this. All right, then we have this here. Let's see what's in here. Envelope with, oh yes, the clips. These are basically reusable paper clips with the user manual. So here's a smaller version of this. Oh, same thing twice, I guess. And we have these clips. So I'm just going to take these off here. They're just, you know, like paper clips. And let's just take those off. Let's get this out of the way here. Now let's see how this works. These are just the clips. And we can use this in 3 different ways. So let's see, the reading wrists. All right, so these are the slots that you put it in, I guess. And it's slightly magnetic, as you can see. If I lift it up, then there's always some kind of magnetism in here to keep it all nice and folded, which is pretty cool. Okay, after some fiddling, these flaps are in here, and you kind of just pull them out like this. If you need a wider stand, like this, adjustable width. All right, and let me see, are these magnetic somewhere? Not really, I think, maybe. And then, let's see, then you have the back here. So, this goes either here, or here, or here. So you can put this down like that. It says reading on the back, which is nice. So you can put it like this to have the 90-degree angle, and you can put it all the way up here. So in these 3 slots, 90 degrees and slightly less, and this is, I guess, 60 degrees. And then you can put your book or your game master's book up against this. You can also just, oh, this is magnetic though. Ah, there you go. This is magnetic. And then when I do it the other way around, yeah, that's also magnetic. Okay, so that's the first 2. And then you can also just lie it flat. This is also magnetic. Yeah, it is. But of course, you'll have a book sitting on that. Interesting. This is pretty clever. I like that. Yeah, I like this stand. So then you put your book on it. I don't really know if you need this. If you have like loose pages, like thin pages and not an actually bound book, then I guess that might help. But you can fold it in. And then, yeah, put this at any angle you prefer. And put your Dungeon Master's book on this, or your tablet if you're using it for, you know, keeping track digitally on a digital RPG app. So that's pretty cool. You can use this for just reading a book, you know, if you want to have your hands free. And these are actually, you can use them with those 2 flaps. And I think you need to draw them out simultaneously. Kind of feels like it, because that works. And then if you have your book open, you can use these clips together with this to hold the pages open. So if I have a small booklet, I can do it like this. Put the small booklet on and fold that open. And if it you know, flips shut again, you can just do this on one side. And oh, I will do it the other way around. With this on the other side to keep that open. And that works pretty nicely. So let's take a bigger book. And then take your big book, put it open on a page, And this I also already kind of, sort of, if you put it down far enough, kind of holds the pages open, so I don't actually need the clips, but you can still do it if you want to. If you just want to have the book all the way open, just do that like this. And one on the other side, like that. Boom. At your favorite page where you're currently reading. That's pretty clever. So there you go. And then when you're done, you just fold it together again. Fold this flat, which also is magnetic up here. And you fold, I guess you just fold this up like this. Yeah. Reading rest. Pretty cool. And finally, you've seen this underneath the video already, is the HEYtrace mat. These come in different shapes. There's 2 sizes. There's this one here, comes in this this tube. The HEYtrace Plus Eternal Tracing Paper, which basically a smaller version of this one. You just take it out of the tube, and it's some form of silicone. It's stretchable. It's you can fold it and it won't crease, it won't rip. So that's pretty cool. Has a 1-inch grid on it, as you can see. But these also come without a grid. There is a tracing silicone paper if you want, without a grid, which you can just put on top of something and then just trace it over and then scan it or photograph it and then wipe it off again, just like on the notepads we saw earlier that you can just write on and then wipe it off again. But these are pretty cool as well. This is like A3 kind of size. The small one is called the Explorer HEYtrace mat, which is 12 by 18 inches or 30 by 45 centimeters roughly. And the big one is the Adventurer mat, which is 24 by 36 inches or about 61 by 91 centimeters with that grid on it. Now this one that I got sent over is a prototype. You can see it's a little bit darker than this one. This one is a bit, it's not thinner, but it's brighter. It's less opaque. As you can clearly see my hand through here. And I'll test that with a map. So I've got this map here. So if you're playing an RPG and you have a nice looking map and you want to mark some things, you can just throw this over. And if you have the clear one, you can just trace stuff if you want and then just use that for whatever, or you can trace drawings, or you can use it for all kinds of stuff. But with the grid, it's super handy for playing RPGs. So you just throw that on top of your map. You pick a pen that you want to use, and maybe we just want to kind of trace a district here of the map. So we want to go like this and just trace that so that later on we can use that to mark whatever we want on it, of course. So there's a couple of gates here, there's a building, right? And you just do that, and it's really smooth. It feels nice. And I'm just being really rough here. So you can trace, I know maybe you want to trace the coastline like that. And then you'll have a map that you can draw on. So you can make notes of buildings, like there might be a shop or a smith or something they've visited. You could make notes that the adventuring party has visited a certain building. So yeah, if I take that off like this, you can see that I have now traced it on there. I'll take the map out from under it. There we go. It's just a really rough sketch there. But now I can actually just fold this up and leave it like this, put it in my bag, or roll it up, put it back in the tube, and just use that next time on my gaming session again, and just fold it out, and there it is. And if I'm done with it, I can once again take the cleaner out of its little tube here and just spray that on. Let's see how well that works. Yeah, I can just, oh wow, that's very easy. That is incredibly easy. I can even swipe this off at the spots where I didn't spray because there's still a little bit of water. And if it's too moist, if you spray too much, you just take a cloth or one of these cloths that you can also get from HEYi and just wipe the excess water off. So you don't really need a lot to clean it. And you can also just wipe off little flaws. So if I, for example, I drew a river and, oh, I bumped the table and I made a mistake. I can probably just, let's see if that works. Oh yeah, quite easily actually. Just wipe that off and fix that mistake. There you go. And that's pretty good. So you can, you know, you need to let it dry just a little, but it comes off very easily. So yeah, I can just fold this up and then on the next session, continue playing. And yeah, this is pretty cool stuff. And they lay out completely flat. They're curl free, so you won't have curly edges. What you can have, of course, with a paper mat if you're not careful with it. You can trace anything on it that you want. You can write on it. It's pretty much smudge free. After, you know, you wait a little while to let the ink dry a bit. It's foldable. There's no glare. Now this is a paper map, but some of these maps are glare, you know, they're glossy, so the light will glare, and this does not. So if you put this on top of a glossy map, you'll probably take away most of the glare. This doesn't tear. You can actually pull this quite a bit, and it doesn't tear. And whenever you put it down, there's a really smooth, flat surface. And best of all, of course, the infinite reusability, which is quite eco-friendly. So the material this is made from is called Duraflexa silicone core with an ink Vera coating. And in the current Kickstarter, you can get one of these mats, so the Explorer mat, with a dry erase pen and a cloth for $49. The Adventurer mat, which is the big one, you can also get with a cloth and a dry erase pen for $69. And if you take both sizes with a pen and a cloth, you pay $99. And then there's, of course, multi-packs, so you can get multiple of that for a small discount, the more you take, of course. And all the other accessories you've seen are there as optional add-ons, so you can get the thinner markers, the thicker markers, and the color markers, which are 2 millimeter thick, so they are thicker than these, which are 1 and 0.6. You can get that cleaning kit, which has a bottle inside, and I did not screw that close too well, I see, but yeah, just put it on a cloth. So this is just a little spray bottle that you put into this, which also functions as a wipe, as you can see, and that goes into this. The mats come in a tube as well, and these cleaning kits have these tablets. You can get the pocket notebook, the essential notebook, you can get the out-of-the-box reading rest, and all of these can be used infinitely, except for the pens, of course, that at some point will be empty. But all in all, this is pretty clever. You can use it for work stuff, for personal stuff, for just keeping track of tasks, things to do, your groceries. Or yeah, you could actually put your groceries on here. Now that I think about it, put all your groceries in here and then just cross them off once you've gotten what you need, and then when you're home you wipe it off again and use it next time you go for groceries again. But I think for RPGs this is pretty darn clever, pretty nice stuff to have. And the Kickstarter is still going. It ends on November 28th, so I'll put a link in the description below, or you can click the I in the top right corner of this video and that'll take you there. You can still pledge, and they have a shipping date on the site that says March 2026, so then you will get all of these products shipped to you. So if you're a creator, an illustrator, or a dungeon master, or you play a lot of RPGs and any of this appeals to you, check that out. That's the HEYi Kickstarter for the Explorer and the Adventurer tracing mats with all of these accessories. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up.
Don't forget to subscribe, and please also check out my Patreon page by clicking the link in the description below or the icon at the end of this video. That'll take you to my Patreon page, and patrons of my channel get early access to all of my videos. Their name in the credits as a supporter. You get access to Patreon exclusive content that I post twice a month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.